Good morning and welcome to this webinar, an introduction to Autodesk Vault. My name is Aldred Boyd. I'm an application engineer with Micrographics and I will be presenting for you today. If there are any questions at the end of the presentation, please feel free to email me at aldred@mgfx.co.za. Okay, just a little bit about myself. I'm an industry specialist for the Autodesk manufacturing products. So if you take a look at how Autodesk has sort of segmented what they do, you've got the manufacturing, you've got AEC, and you've got media and entertainment. So with the manufacturing products, what we do is Inventor, AutoCAD, AutoCAD Electrical, Autodesk Vault, and a few other products, Navisworks, 3ds Max as well. So over the years, I've had to learn all of these, so then I do training and consult in it as well. I've got about 19 years of experience, starting off with Inventor and AutoCAD. So those are my sort of two main staples, Inventor being my flagship product. I am both AutoCAD and Inventor certified professional as well. So I have done my exams and passed them to become certified in those two events. I've also, as I said, done AutoCAD Mechanical, AutoCAD Electrical, AutoCAD Plant, as well as the Autodesk Vault product, which is the data management suite that Autodesk offers for their software, and that is what you'll be seeing today. I'm also an Autodesk certified instructor, so if you do ever come to one of our training courses with me, you will be getting the high standard of and quality of training that Autodesk expects, as they have quite a rigorous training course for the instructors. And if you come to any of our training centers around the country, in Durban, Johannesburg, or Port Elizabeth, I'm in Cape Town, then you'll also find that my other colleagues are also certified instructors, and they'll be able to help you with the same high intensity that I would be able to give you. I have been a presenter at Autodesk University Extension as well, in both Johannesburg and Cape Town as well. If you haven't been at one of these sort of Autodesk universities, then I suggest take a look at going through to one of them. They're very informative. It's a great networking platform. At the moment with COVID, yes, we won't be visiting in person, but there is the virtual event as well. I think there is Autodesk University is in Vegas. It was originally in Vegas, so last year they actually made it available to everyone as well for free. So if you do see those emails coming through to you, go for it, and make sure that you get in. It's a great experience to have. Okay, the agenda. So we're going to take a look at, very much beginners look at Autodesk Vault. So why Autodesk Vault and how does it fit into your workflow? Okay, what you might not know is that if you have AutoCAD, full AutoCAD, or if you have Inventor, and there's a couple other products as well, you automatically have access to a version of Autodesk Vault. So in the third one over there, what are the differences between Autodesk Vault Basic, Workgroup, and Professional? So the Vault Basic is the one that you get free of charge, and you're able to then go and immediately start working with it in your environment. The other two, Workgroup and Professional, are paid for, but they have a lot of additional functionality that you can use. And then also, which software works with Autodesk Vault? I mean, you need to know that before you start plugging away. Okay. So just from the website, Autodesk website, what is Autodesk Vault? So Vault is a product data management software that improves productivity. Everyone works from a central source of organized data, collaborating, reducing errors, and saving time. Now, if I'm working in a company and I see that kind of stuff, or that kind of terminology, collaborating, who doesn't want to collaborate better with each other? I mean, a lot of the times we work with someone else, we work in a team, it's very disconnected. The work that I do when I pass on to someone else, either rework, work is redone, there's a disconnect when it comes back to me, I've got to redo what the second person has done, and there's no continuity, no fluidity in the collaboration on working on a project. Reducing errors. I mean, everyone wants to reduce errors. I mean, errors are what makes us, lose time, lose money, miss deadlines. And in this fast-paced world that we live in, that's something that we really can ill afford. And then saving time. I mean, if I can save time getting to market, or if I can save time getting to manufacturing, I can innovate a little bit more maybe. So for instance, if I've got a design, if I can spend less time detailing because maybe 75% of the detailing is done, and then more time then innovating and making the product even better for consumer use, then it makes me better as a person, as a company, and my product into the market where more people want to go come and buy more stuff from me. And Vault will help you to do that with certain functionality. Okay, so what does Vault do? So I'm going to talk about a certain scenario on what Vault. So you can see they manages the entire design, finds design data in seconds. So that's kind of some of the functionality it does. But what does it essentially do? So Vault is, if you've ever worked in a drawing office, that whole, when you go to find a document, you'll go to the cupboard, you'll say, you get the registry out, you'll sign your name out, say, I've taken this out, take the piece of paper out, you go back to your desk, you do your drawings. So these are the times of hand drawings. Once you've done it, you take it back to the cupboard, and in the registry, right, I've put it back in there, but I've made these changes over here. That registry will record kind of what has been done. So that when someone else comes, they'll say, what's been changed to this drawing from maybe they were the person who created the drawing previously before you, or stopped at it, and then you modified their drawing, and they need to start from that modification again. So they'll then take out the piece of paper, they'll say, I've signed it out, they'll go to their desk, they'll make the changes, come back and they'll say what changes they've made. Now, Vault is kind of an electronic way of doing that, but it's a little bit more intelligent than that. It is able to record versions and revisions throughout different stages of its life. So, and so you can basically go back to previous designs as well, whereas in a paper drawing, you don't really have that option. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of erasing and rubbing out and stuff like that, which is not really what you want. So what Vault does, it has a check-in and check-out system, which is basically signing in and signing out, where you take ownership of it. So if I open up from the Vault, I take ownership of it so that if the second person tries to open up that drawing, it says, sorry, but this is actually checked out to somewhere else. You can open it up and look at it, but you can't actually make any changes to it. If they do try to make changes to it, it says write, and they try and save, we'll say save copy as, because you cannot overwrite that original drawing because I've taken ownership of that. What it also allows you to do, if you're working in an assembly and you've got, say, 100 parts in it, I can maybe take ownership of 2 or 3 parts, where the second person can take ownership of maybe 3 or 4 other parts, different parts. So you can actually work on the same design at the same time. And then when you check it back into the Vault and then maybe check it back out again, it will then update accordingly on both systems. How it's also set up is that the Vault server will be sitting on the console management, so server management, will be sitting on a server somewhere. So a central server, either locally in your office or in the cloud. And then what happens is when you check it out, it actually makes a local copy onto your hard drives. So this is actually very, very nice, because think about the way that you work without a Vault server, say just on a Windows File Explorer. If all your files are sitting on the server, you're actually still working across the network. And that's not really what you want to do, because there's network traffic, the network goes down, files get corrupted, and also depending on how much traffic is on the networks is how so long it takes to open up that drawing. So a lot of the time you're actually spent waiting for a drawing to open and actually working on your design. With Vault, what it allows you to do is make a copy on your local drive. So there's both a copy on the server and your local drive, and you work off your local drive. So it's as fast as the CPU can kind of run. When you do check it back in, what it does, it saves incrementally. So it will save the incremental changes that you've done. Whereas, if you're working just in a Windows file server, if you wanted to make a version 1, version 2, or a revision 1 and revision 2, you'd actually make a save copy as. Okay? So, for instance, if your file is 5 megs and you make a save copy as, your second file will be 5 megs as well. So now all of a sudden you've got 10 megs of data sitting on your server. Whereas in Vault, the file's 5 megs, the changes that you've made is only 0.2 megs. So now the total file is 5.2 megs. Okay? So that's kind of the gist of how Autodesk Vault works. And, as I said, let's just go through this, managing the entire design. So that entire design, this checking in and checking out of data, works for all your CAD data. So that's Inventor, AutoCAD, Office documents, so PowerPoint, Word, Excel, and your Outlook as well. So there's emails. So you're getting emails from someone else. You can actually now go and store that in a central location. Vault also, with this location, it has user rights and permissions. So you can give someone just read rights. They can only look at certain data sitting in the Vault. or read and read write, where they can make modifications as well. You can put scanned documents in, so you can actually put any document in. You can put pictures in. So the nice thing about that is that maybe you've gone to site and taken a picture of what's actually on site. So where's this machine going to go? Because you need it for reference purposes for the whole project. You can put that in, and it's all linked within this Vault document system. Finding design data in seconds. So you can actually search metadata. You can say, I'd like to search for something that I created in 2017 between April and November, and it was made out of stainless steel. So you can put that into your design data, and it will go search the whole Vault and find those for you. Okay, sharing digital prototype information securely with team members. Okay, so with Autodesk Vault Basic, you aren't able to do this. So you can only install Vault if you've got a valid CAD application system. But with Autodesk Vault Workgroup and Professional, non-CAD users also have access to this information inside Vault. So what that means is that you can either install the Vault Explorer on, which is the thick client, or what you can do is you can go and install the, you can just create it through, you can access the information to your Internet Explorer, or now you've actually got an app that loads onto your Android device or your Apple device as well. And it works very, very well. I've tested it. It is very quick, very easy to set up. And then you've got access to all that data over there that's residing inside the Vault. Okay. And as I said, it also tracks who has revised designs and when. Okay. The Vault Basic is version control. So when you check in and out, it just says, this is the difference between your last version and this version. But then when it comes to Vault Workgroup and Vault Professional, you've got what they call life cycle workflows. So what a life cycle is, think about how you work. So first of all, we've got work in progress. So that's when the designers have the design and they're working on it. And what it does, it locks it out to everyone else. So no one can actually see what's going on with the designers. And this is quite nice though, because you don't want someone accidentally going and opening up, maybe he's halfway through the design, opening up the drawing, printing or creating 3,000 parts or 1,000 parts, and now you're sitting with 1,000 parts that is that's half finished, and it's not the right design. You've just wasted a lot of money. So once it's work in progress, it stays there, and then you take it to for review. It gets locked out to the designer, so they can't change it anymore. Then for review, the managers come or the engineers come and they take a review of it. If they're happy with it, they can push it through to release to manufacturer, where then it gets locked out to everyone, and now it's released, and then only the floor can see it, and they can open it up, and then they can go and make those products. If they don't like it, they can push it back to work in progress. It gets locked out to everyone again, and then it gets opened up for the designer, who then goes and keeps on working on it. So you've got this, and you can create your own workflow as well. Prototype, quick release, obsolete, things like that. Vault does have a couple of these basic workflows involved. You can set it up the way that you want it, and you can also set up who has access to which part of that life cycle as well. And then you've also got proper revision control. So A, B, C, primary, secondary, tertiary revision bumps. Okay, so if it goes, if it's sitting in release and you have to make a change, so a engineering change order gets processed, okay, what parts get put to that? So you put all that digitally, so it's not something that you hand write out, it's got it internally built into Vault Professional. And then what happens is then it will then goes back to work in progress. So it then automatically can bump up to maybe revision B or revision C, or maybe a secondary bump or tertiary bump. Okay. So that's kind of a little bit by, what Autodesk Vault does, okay? But then, we still might be going, okay, so great, it does all this stuff, but I'm still a one-man band. I don't need Vault. I mean, Windows File Explorer works great for me. So why Autodesk Vault, even if you are a one-man band, or if you are 20 strong in a company? Okay. Let's look at the scenario. Has this ever happened to you? Okay. So incorrect parts have been manufactured because the latest design was not printed. So if I'm looking at these two pictures over here, the design on the right, that's the latest design, but the design on the left was printed and created. Okay. So how does this happen? So typical workflow without Vault. So I'm working in a team environment, it's me and another guy or another girl. So the design is created by user one, that's me, and I create it and I save it to the server. Awesome. So now a couple of hours later, user two comes along, opens up my design and works and works and works. And now obviously they need to say, okay, look, now this must become revision two. So they go save copy as, and they save revision two. The next day I come in, I'm like, oh, you know what, I actually need to go change the design because I've got a couple of more ideas about it. I go and open up my original design because I don't know that user two has actually opened up my design and changed it. So I'm like, okay, well, fine. They open up, I make changes, it's ready for manufacture. I send it to the manufacturer, he creates it, or, you know, tell him, go create it, create 1,000 parts, he creates 1,000 parts. User two comes in and goes, what are you doing? That's not the latest design. Now we've got a problem. And, you know, this all happens in a Windows file environment, and I'm sure many of you have actually experienced this before. So how would Vault be able to help us out with this? So the typical workflow with Vault would be, you work in a team environment, I create the design, okay, and I save it into Autodesk Vault. When user two comes, they open up the design and they say, right, I want this to be revision two, and it saves it, but it saves it, you know, incrementally in Vault. So when I come and open up the design again, if I had to try and open up what looked like my design, Vault would actually tell me, this is not the latest design you're trying to open. Would you really like to open this? So then I know now someone's made a design change. So I can actually go check in the comments what changes have been made. So then I actually open up the new design, make my changes, and then when manufacturing goes into the Vault, they only also see the latest design. So Vault will only ever show you the latest design. You can revert to an older one, but when you start doing that, it does put up red flags that say, this is not the latest design. Do you really want to do it? So that if you do it, then, you know, you actually are the one at fault, not Vault. So this is one way that Vault will help mitigate these type of problems. Okay, so the next one, has this ever happened to you? You need to create a design where 75% is reused from the previous design. Okay, you find it way easier to redesign the entire model than doing a manual copy of components. I mean, this has happened before. Or what happens is, you know, you have to go and recreate it, maybe just one single part. What happens is now you go to your Windows File Explorer, now you can start looking for it. Now you don't know where it is, you forgot what you named it, or maybe someone else created it, and you know, it's just easier, instead of having to look for it and spending those 5-10 minutes searching for it, it's just actually easier to go and create it from scratch. So then let's go look at scenario 1 and 2. Okay, so without Vault, scenario 1, you start copying all the files that you know the same, and you rename them, or you put a prefix or a suffix in, you know, you save it to a new folder. In Inventor, as you know, you have to create a project pointing to that folder. You put it all together in your assembly, create your new parts, stick it together, and then go recreate all these drawings, those 2D drawings as well. And which is the detailing takes a lot of time. Okay, now you can see that, I mean, that is very, very time consuming. Then scenario 2, okay, create everything from scratch. Like I said, if you've got a part, you can't find it, it's just easier to create it from scratch and create the drawings as well. Okay. Typical workflow with Vault would just be to copy design. So with copy design, what that allows you to do is be able to take an assembly and reuse some of the components and make copies of other components. Okay. So with that, I'm just going to go into a quick little demo on that just to show you how quick and easy it is within Vault and what it also additionally does. Okay, so this is the Vault over here. And just a quick aside from this. So what, you know, if you're worried about what the folder structure looks like in Vault versus the folder structure looks like in File Explorer, because this is one of the things that people are concerned about. But if you don't want to, if you've got a certain folder structure, you know, that you've set up, which is, you know, standardized in your company, you want it to reflect in Vault as well. You don't want it to be different. And that's exactly what it does. So whatever the folder structure is in your Windows File Explorer will be exactly the same as in over here. So what you can see over here is I've got my pane, and if I just select the bottom, I'm just going to show you a couple of things over here quickly before we look at the copy design, is that I've got a preview of my design over here. And you can see over there, okay, I've just got it open up over there, but I can update it and it'll update the view over here. So it publishes a visualization file, which I'm then able to go and turn and view and see like that. So if you're a non-CAD user and you need to go and look at this component in Vault, you can actually, without having any CAD software whatsoever, look at it over here. So even say, for instance, you are the only designer, you'll be able to see what the component looks like over here. And just go to one of these over here. Update here. And we'll see what it looks like. I think I've got it open up in Inventor, so that's why it's not showing it. If it doesn't show, we'll just continue with the copy design as previously discussed. And okay, so we'll take a look at this just now. Okay, so look, I'm going to go back to my assembly over here. Okay, and what I do, if I right click on it, I'm able to go and copy design. So it opens up this copy design wizard, and this, is very, very easy to use, and it's great if, just for renaming stuff. So the first thing I'm going to say is, if I say click on that assembly over there, I can go to my actions, and you can see there I can, reuse or copy. So I've got two different options, copying or reusing it. So I can say copy. Well, I can say copy all, it will copy all of the file. And by the way, I said copy design just on the assembly, and it went and found all the different parts that we associated with that assembly as well. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to say copy to, and I'm going to say I want to copy it to a specific folder in my Vault. So there we can see that's where it's going to copy it to. And on the right-hand side, it'll tell you what the final name is going to be, if it's got a prefix and the base name. So for instance, this one over here, I can say it must be 004. You'll see how the destination name gets updated. And I'm going to say, you know what, I don't want a copy of that. Okay, so there we go. That's where it's going to be copied. It tells you it's going to be a copy of it as well. And then I'm going to say, well, let's do B and D. Right click, I'm going to say also copy to, and let's go to copy parts. Now, what it's actually doing in the background over here, so let's go and just do this for, and let's see, for, and then just get rid of these prefixes. Okay, there we go. I've got my new names over there. What it additionally does is it actually goes and looks if there are any 2D drawings associated with these, and it'll make a copy of that as well. And that's a very, very big time saver, because I think about how much time do you actually spend detailing. I mean, detailing is the most time consuming thing, and you don't want to kind of do it again if you're just making copies of something. Maybe you'll have to do a couple of tweaks because it's going to be changed a little bit, but at least the main, or 80 to 90% of the drawing will have already been done. Once this is done, we can go execute copy, and it'll go and execute that copy for you. Okay, so got some nice green ticks over there. Let's copied it, and I can say right. Let's go and see what's been happening over there. So if I go to copy assemblies, there we go. D621004 as well as D621004DWG. Okay, so it's made that DWG copy over there for me. Now, I don't want that 2D file to be over there, and I want it to be in the copy drawing. So what I can do is I can just drag and drop that into the copy drawings over there. So just drag and drop that into there. It moves it, and it makes sure that it's still linked to that that assembly, as well as my drawing file over here. And you got D621004B, and there's my drawing. So you can see there, it has also copied those drawings in over there for me. So that's copy design, very, very quick, very, very simple. And, I've immediately got my assembly over there with all my additional parts. And you can see that reusing the 003 components, but the way I said I'm to make a copy, it's reusing the 004. Okay, so going to the next scenario over here. So have you ever moved or renamed a part of assembly, and now when you open it, there are parts missing and error messages popping up? Okay, so this has happened if you're working in Windows File Explorer. And, with that, what do you do with it? So what happens is you'll see there that you've got a rename or move a part or subassembly, so resolve the link. So, what do we do with resolving the link over here? We actually have to go find it. We have to go find that part over there. So I've got to go and find it if it has been moved outside my project or not. Okay. So now what happens is the air filter, you can see there's a little question mark over there. And I'm going, well, okay, great. Now you've got to go and resolve these things over here. So now, what's the typical workflow that we have with the Vault? Okay, so we can either rename or move the parts in the subassembly. Okay, and I mean, that Windows File Explorer doesn't know how to, it doesn't know about those links that you've got in your inventor with your parts and assemblies. So Vault does. Vault's got that database, so it works on a SQL database, which knows how to relate those names of the assemblies and the parts back to each other. And the nice thing about this is that you can go rename or move those parts or sub-assemblies or assemblies, within Autodesk Vault and just keep working as normal. There's no, sort of this message won't come up over here, resolve link. There's no resolve link or anything like that. You just keep on working as is, and there's actually not an issue whatsoever. Okay, so let's see, how does that work over there? Okay, so with this over here, if I take a look at, well, we actually saw how to move parts. I took, my drawing files and I just moved it across. You saw there was a little, if I take this now, let's move it up to copy assemblies. You'll see there's a little, dialog box that, pops up over there. And it then says, well, it goes and relinks all the parts and assemblies that I need. Okay, so how do we go and rename something? So let's go take a look at one of these components over here. So let's go take a look at G. So right click, and there we've got rename over here. So now with rename, it'll bring up this rename wizard over here. And if you've got some additional files, you can actually go and add files over here. Now, what I'll see over here is, I've got this picture over here. I can actually maybe rename this picture as well. So, it doesn't just necessarily relate to your CAD documents. You can rename, your pictures, office documents, etc. Whatever you put in here, you can go rename as well. So I've got over here, so you'll see a numbering scheme. So what you can do in Vault, you can put an automatic numbering scheme into Vault as well, so that whenever you add an additional or create a new part or create a new assembly or sub-assembly, you can automate the numbering scheme. So I know a lot of companies use an Excel spreadsheet, and then whenever you create a new part, you need to go to the Excel spreadsheet and then make sure that, you're ticking off, what you've got over there, or the next number on the list. And, it has to be shared between a whole lot of people, and you need to make sure that you cross off if you use something. Otherwise, you find that you start duplicating numbers, part numbers, and file names of certain parts. And what Vault does, it actually keeps an internal record of what's being used. And you've actually got a tick box that says there are no duplicate names within Vault. You'll never, ever get a duplicate name within Vault as well. Okay. So with that, you can just put your numbering scheme. I don't have any numbering schemes, sort of implemented on this Vault. But you can also update your part number as well. So it'll update the file name plus the part number as well. So with this, you got the new name, new D6. Let's go, let's make this 005. Okay. And then I'm just going to keep this new warehouse site pick. And what it does is, because you go into a wizard, it also then goes and finds all the assemblies that it's sort of linked to, or the drawings that it's linked to, and it'll make sure that the links are kept the same so that you don't lose those links, so that when I open up, say for instance, a drawing, it knows that I've changed the name of the part, and it will open up that part, and everything will just be fine. Okay, so you can see that I've renamed it. And if I go to my history over here, you'll actually see there that I'm getting, sort of comments. On this, I've renamed it. If I go show all versions, you'll see there, that's when I put it into the Vault. Okay. So it was yesterday at 2:28, and I renamed it today at 10:30. So you're getting that, that sort of history of what's actually happening in the Vault over here. Okay, so just that's just some of the stuff that I think is actually very important. Would actually start pushing you to go towards the Vault, because those are the things that are actually pertinent to what the Vault does. Now, as I said, there's a couple of different vaults. So, with Autodesk Vault Basic, so this organizes, manages and tracks your data and documents in a central location, has check-in and check-out capabilities to protect data and basic version control. Okay, users can easily share and reuse data and work with AnyCAD data. So AnyCAD is kind of like XREFing in Inventor. So you got XREFs for AutoCAD. It's like kind of like an XREF in Inventor with different CAD models. And then sort of Vault can also be integrated with Microsoft Office, but that is only your Word, your Excel, and your PowerPoint, not your Outlook. Outlook is only available in one of the other versions over there. So you can also manage, obviously, your Office documentation as well as any, any drawing or pictures that you've taken. Okay, then Workgroup. Okay, so now this is a paid for version of Vault, and so this is now sort of upping what it needs to do. So it does exactly what the basic does and more. Okay, so now this is also extends past just the CAD environment. So you don't have to have a CAD package on your machine. You can just be, someone needs to look at the CAD data. So it incorporates all the functionality of Vault Basic and adds administration functions to control access and permissions across the organization. What it also allows you to do is add lifecycle. So we spoke about lifecycle a little bit earlier, and also revision control. That's very, very important. So now not only do you have version control, but you now have revision control as well. Then you got Vault Professional. Now this is the big daddy, and this allows all the functionality you got in Basic and Professional, but then it also allows you to do multi-site. You can use it on multi-sites. So you're able then to go and put servers within, maybe 3 different cities or 3 different separate locations, and then go and share through replication the data throughout all those provinces over there. Okay. So it tracks your life cycles of revisions, and it also then allows you to build the materials and engineering change orders. Okay. So this is quite important. I mean, your engineering change orders, when something has to go through a revision, is something that we normally manually put up, goes to a whole lot of different people. They go and physically sign it, and then the part gets released to go get changed. This all gets done internally within Vault. See, now, you're also getting rid of all your paper consumption, all those papers that you are having to do with that. And then, you can also integrate it with your ERP system so that it makes it better. So that bill of materials export that you've got there allows you to integrate with your ERP system so that the numbers that you're using within Vault are the same as the numbers that you're using within your ERP system, so that when you procure something or you need to order something, then, everything's going to be the same. There's no manual input from a human where human error comes into play, and then things start to go awry. Then one that we haven't seen before is your Autodesk Vault Office. So now this over here is for non-CAD users. So I did say that CAD user, you can access the Vault if you're a non-CAD user and you don't have a license, but that's read-only access and only to stuff that's been released or products that have been released. Autodesk Vault Office allows you a little bit more. So it allows you to basically check in, check out Office documents, okay? But it also allows you to do, change the state like revision control. It also allows you to take it from a work in progress to, released or for review. But, what it doesn't have is the CAD integration. So it allows you to do a lot of stuff even though you're not a CAD user, or allows you to integrate or manipulate the system without being a CAD user as well. Or if you don't need it, it's also a much cheaper option if you don't need the software. Okay, so the compatible software. So what I've done over here is just put into 3 columns. The first column is Vault Basic, the second column is Vault Workgroup, and the third column is Vault Professional. Now, these are all the products. If you buy any of these products on the left here, you're able to use it with all of these products over here. So Advanced Steel, Alias, Alias Automotive, Alias Design, Alias Surface, AutoCAD, 3ds Max, 3ds Max Design, okay, AutoCAD Architecture, Civil 3D, Electrical. So LT, you cannot integrate it with Vault Basic, but you can integrate it with Vault Workgroup and Professional. Okay, so then MEP, Map 3D, Mechanical, P&ID, Plant 3D. The factory design utilities only works with Vault Professional, not Workgroup or Basic, so you need to take note of that. Inventor works with all 3, Inventor LT. Now, just please note that Inventor LT will be retired soon, so that will sort of be null and void. With Inventor Professional, Moldflow Advisor, Moldflow Synergy, Navisworks Manage, and Navisworks Simulate. Okay, so you can see Navisworks Freedom is not on this, so that is not being able to integrate with the Vault. Revit. So if you're an architect, you can use Vault as well, but only with the professional. And then simulation CFD and simulation multiphysics. And then at the bottom there, as I said, so Outlook cannot be used in Vault Basic, but can be used in Vault Workgroup and Vault Professional. Okay, so let's just take a look at what you can do with the Basic versus the Workgroup versus the Professional. So with this over here, so this is basically out the bat. If you had just had to get, any of those products that we've just discussed before, and you just had Vault Basic, you could do all of this. So you got Inventor CAD integration. So just to go back here quickly, just to show you, open up my Inventor over here, or any of my products, you'll see there that you'll have a Vault tab. And this is basically what the Vault integration looks like. Okay, so check in, check out, log in, log out. If I open up my Word, if I open up a Word document over here, you'll see there I've also got an Autodesk Vault tab. So it integrates directly into the environment that you're working. Log in, log out, refresh from Vault, check in, check out. Okay. So any of those products that we previously mentioned now will have this Autodesk Vault tab, and you will then be able to go and look at what's going on over there. Okay. So Civil 3D integration. So that's quite important. Civil 3D is it's a different beast. So, great. Support for any CAD. So kind of like X-ray thing. Fast data searching. It's got, as I said, it's got that search functionality where you can search the metadata in it. Central location for project data. So that is something that's very important. One of the scenarios we went through is that I create something, someone modifies it. I don't know they've modified it because they created a new name for it. They changed the name, save copy as. I keep on working on the old design, but now it's not the latest design. It gets made, and now we're sitting 1,000 parts that we can't use. Data reuse, the copy design. Fantastic tool. Reuse this, copy that. Concurrent design. As I said, you can work on the same assembly at the same time. Not the same part, but I can work on 3 parts, part A, B, C, and you can work on part D, E, F. Easy administration and configuration. It's very, very quick and easy to get up and running with obviously the correct help from your reseller. Quick, flexible deployment. Okay, it's very quick and easy to deploy, as with most Autodesk software now. Autodesk is really taking big steps and strides. They're able to install and deploy software very, very quickly. And then, as I said, Microsoft Office integration, your Word, your Excel, and your PowerPoint. Okay, so now we go into the realm of where you've just got Vault Workgroup and Vault Professional functionality. So now Vault Basic cannot do this. Visual data management for Inventor. Okay, so for that is you can now, there's something called shared views, okay, where you can just give a link, to someone. They click on the link, it opens up in in your Internet Explorer, but Vault will manage that. Automate tasks and deliverable creation. So you can automate some of the tasks for deliverables. Automatically publish and manage PDFs. So this is actually quite nice. how much time do you spend creating PDFs of your 2D drawings for clients? A lot. So you can automate that. Projects and reporting. You can create reports of your projects. So this assembly over here, what's work in progress? What's been released? What's for review? Revision control, very, very important. And that's one step up from your version control. Flexible data security. So you can have folder level security, user level security, file level security, Microsoft Outlook integration. So now you can start managing your Outlook, your emails. Project life cycles, like I said, work in progress, for review, release to manufacture, obsolete. And then Vault Office as well. So Vault Office is that license of Autodesk Vault Office that you get. So that does not integrate, it doesn't work with the Vault Basic. So you can buy Vault Office, but if you work running Vault Basic, that license won't work with Vault Basic. It will only work if you bought license of Vault Workgroup, Vault Professional. And please also note, you cannot mix and match. So you can't buy 3 Vault Workgroups and then 4 Vault Professionals and have it working in one environment. It has to either all be Vault Workgroup or Vault Professional, although you can tag onto that Vault Office as well. And the last one over here is just in the domain of Vault Professional, the geometric search. Now, this is actually fantastic. Now, one of the scenarios we went through was that, what happens is if, sometimes you need to make a copy of something, you can't find it. So what happens? You just create a new one, So, oh, I know what this part looked like, what it was kind of looked like, and I just create a new one and give it a new name. Now, the problem is if you do that 30, 40, 50 times, and now you've got the same part and essentially sitting in 50 different assemblies, I mean, that is just a waste, because if you have to, that part changes, you have to change it in 50 different places. So initially, when people do start working with Autodesk Vault, they just dump all the information in. There's a lot of duplicates because that's how they've worked traditionally with the Windows File Explorer. What Vault, I think 2020 Service Pack, or I think 2021, and only Vault Professional did was they did a geometric search. So what you can do is you can say, what else looks like this? And it will go find all the parts and all the assemblies that is situated in. And then what happens is you will then go and say, right, now let's replace it with this sole, the single piece of truth, and we'll go and replace all of those. So now what happens is you have just got that one part instead of 50 parts over there. So it helps you to clean out your vault if historically you've been carrying parts for the last 5, 10, 15 years. Bill of material management. Okay, so this is also quite nice. You've got revision 5 and revision 2, and you want to see what is the difference between the bill of materials between these two revisions, and you can actually take a look at it and compare the two. Automated engineering change orders, so we can automate the change orders as well. Custom objects, so you can start putting custom objects in over there. Multi-site scalability, like I said, you can have it over 3 continents if you want to, where you can, you start off maybe in Cape Town, now I need to scale it up to Joburg, to P, to Durban, so that you're able to do that quite quickly. PLM integration, so you can integrate it with your PLM system. ERP, Revit integration, Fusion Team, BIM 360. So you can see this is more about, even more integration with different things. And I'm sure they're going to add a lot more to this list. I mean, this list has really grown in the last 10 years or so. So, as you can see, Vault Professional, is the way to go when you want to really, really pack a punch and move into the whole Vault environment. So there we have it. So a quick little intro to Vault and why I think that you would actually get into it and start working with it. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, so if there are no questions, there are just our offices. We got in Joburg, Cape Town, Port Elizabeth, and Durban. I should actually change that Port Elizabeth to Padaha. I should do that. And there are email addresses if you do need to get hold of us. But thank you very much for watching, guys and girls, and have a fantastic Friday. Enjoy. Cheers.